What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Wow. Wow. Welcome to the MG Show, where we go against the grain. And who had the truth is clickbait on their bingo card today?
That would be, I'm not sure anyone had that, sir.
So yesterday, Shady Groove, our show, and we just pinned it to our profile here at rumble.com/MG Show, got 125,000 views, guys.
What?
Wow.
Wow. It's about time.
It's about time. Thank you very much. And you know how we do that? We figured out the algorithm. It's your thumbs that matter, guys. Your thumbs. With the thumbs up right here on the Rumble video. Your thumbs matter. Thumbs lives matter, Shady.
Thumbs lives matter. Thank you so much. Before you get started and before we start bringing you this amazing content that does, in fact, go against the grain of every single mainstream psyop narrative and alternative news media narrative. Boy, oh boy, they all crash into each other. But right here, you can get free of that. Thank you so much. Click that thumbs up Rumble like button, and let's try to do this again tomorrow.
That's right. Political Cartoon says, I told you the MG Show is the hottest show right now. Thank you so much. I think we are. I've always thought
we are. We're running circles around these people.
You know, and all we did was understand Q. Now, it's funny because, you know, we've been promoting the Promethian Action, and I think that we helped them get a lot of people get subscribers over there, and then they actually made a statement that QAnon is bad, guys. And they are right, because I'm going to tell you that QAnon is bad. Our movement was infiltrated by the other people that are on the leaderboard right now here at Rumble.
And maybe there's a possibility that we can open up a dialogue with them and give them some new information in the future. If they are of the sort that likes new information and likes understanding the truth, I think they would be open to it.
Yeah, because they've been doing great work. And what they don't realize is that they are actually in line in lockstep with Q.
That's right. Yeah,
not QAnon, Q.
Correct. Because what Q was doing was very, very simple. What Q was doing is Q recognized that the country was in a bad position of being able to not understand what's going on. Okay, we the people are a wonderful way of government if we the people have some good information. But if we the people have all bad information, then we the people will consistently make bad decisions. So Q was here to reorganize the game board to give the people that were paying attention the information that they needed to understand what was really going on. And the history, Jeff, because the history, without knowing the history, without learning the history of the country, you're not going to be able to orient right now, and you're not going to be able to see when somebody's trying to pull the same con on you they did before.
And God bless Barbara Boyd, because let me read the title of the video. The British Empire is escalating the Ukraine war to trap Trump, but he's outmaneuvering them. Dive into his strategic moves against the Fed. He wants to restructure it, doesn't he? That's what Q said. End the Fed, restructure or structure. The deep state and the Epstein controversy learned how to cut through the noise and see the truth. And, Promethian Action, you've been doing a great job. And I know that if you guys signed up for Promethian Action newsletter, press 17 for us, please, so I can kind of get a gauge as to how many of you, because I signed up for it. And now they come out with this. Should we actually go ahead and I want to play it? You ready? And we will answer back. Is that good?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so look at the 17s real quick. Look at all the 17s. So Promethian Action was begging for 1,000 people. We look at them. Look at all the people from a show that followed Q, not QAnon, Q. Got these people. Look at
That's
this.
About 30, 40 so far.
Yeah. So, and we'd like to have you on the show. And if you want to discuss Q, we'd be happy. I mean, I understand this QAnon, straw man that they've tied to Q. But why would my account be on Hillary Clinton list? Why would my account in Shady and I have 40 some odd articles on Media Matters, David Brock, right? Why would a sitting senator want me off Twitter? They don't want you off Twitter, Promethian Action.
Well, the thing is,
or X or whatever.
That's about 70 or so now. The thing is, it's the dialogue, Jeff. This is I think the reason that we are brought to this conversation, because I think that we can have a dialogue with people. The stuff that's been going on between us and the Flynn group, that is nonsense, everybody. I want you to understand that. Like, this back and forth thing, these people could just drop it and quit it, but they don't drop it and quit it because they have a narrative to assert. We don't have to be like that with anybody else. We're here to discuss this stuff with people. We're here to have a more informed public, and we're here to further not even necessarily talk about anything that has to do with Q, talk about the things that are important and priorities in our society that Q happened to have mentioned as thinking those were priorities as well.
Yeah. And share this
the way we're looking at it.
And share this show, thumb it up. And I saw 50, 60, 70 people put 17s in here.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So Promethian Action, Promethian, Promethian action.com is where you can sign up. I'm still going to give them a little bit of space because I understand why they don't like QAnon. I don't like QAnon either. We did use that tag, well before until, 2020? Yeah.
Yep.
And then Q said there is no QAnon, only Q. And anons making false statements and false decode relate to anons, not Q.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. Let's play this, Shady Group, because they are making great points. Check it out.
After the Epstein flap, the media is reporting that President Trump will announce a deal to send defensive weapons to Ukraine this afternoon, along with a plan to provide offensive long-range missiles later. The same media is boasting that this will create a complete break with all of us outside the corrupt beltway who believe the president would end the Ukraine war. That enemy boast assumes that Trump is abandoning his quest for peace and his break with America's post-war role as world policeman for the modern British financial empire. I believe it's political theater and a calculated deal-making gambit amidst a very complex situation. Trump is continuing his mission to transform the world map and achieve lasting peace. I'm Barbara Boyd. I've seen British psychological warfare tactics firsthand as applied to political organizations. Creating division using emotionally charged issues like child rape, civilian massacres, and war is a favorite tool of these mind benders. Today, I'm going to first cover Trump's planned announcement this afternoon about defending Ukraine and bringing Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table. Next, I'll tell you about his new war against the Federal Reserve and his new moves to dismantle the deep state, along with the continuing fallout about the fake Epstein controversy. And last, I'm going to talk about what you can do to keep your mind clear in these times of necessarily turbulent change. Before we get started, if you haven't already, go to the Promethian Action website and subscribe. We want to be in contact with you outside Google's controlled space. So what's up with the Ukraine decision? Trump's battle for peace means ending our role as world policemen for the British financial empire, while building solid nation-to-nation state trade rather than globalization. Is it possible that the president has abandoned that and will now escalate the war in Ukraine, as Lindsey Graham and other crazed armchair generals claimed this weekend? Here's what we know. First, the British Empire's strategic policy is to snatch and loot Eurasia, starting with Russia, and that's the reason for their war in Ukraine. As opposed to Biden, Trump has fought that, opening dialogue with Putin for the first time in years and placing himself completely outside the mindset of our captured intelligence agencies and lobile congressmen. He seeks a great power alliance with Russia and China and has staked his presidency on creating that. Despite this, Putin has continued the war aggressively and, according to Axios this morning, told Trump directly that the war will be solved by Russia militarily.
So she uses Axios, you see, guys? I mean, okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, there's some problems that we have here. And Axios has been right, but they've also been wrong.
And they're also Axios has an embedded system. So one of the things that Q gave us that was very important was understanding the way that the communications work between reporters and intelligence operations and whatnot. So the reality here is you take the same situation with Axios. Each one of the reporters has a layer of sources or intel assets around that reporter. And whenever you see these things, especially the stuff that's been coming out of the Pentagon for the last 3 months, the stuff that's coming out of the Pentagon, or the stuff that's being leaked, or the stuff that people are saying all of this that's getting into the mainstream news, it's never right. Okay, if you're noticing that each instance that it occurs, it isn't correct. That the lead is wrong, the story is wrong, the end that they're saying is getting ready to happen isn't what's actually going on. So again, like you said, Jeff, very suspect of the resource here, because the intel agencies that no longer have security clearances are still feeding the mainstream media talking points, and they're still feeding the alt media talking points.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, so here we go, and we're going to continue because, Q is what we use for information for a long time, guys. And the news unlocks the map, and it has been happening at breakneck speed. Here we go. Check this out. A lot of that today. Yeah.
Decision by Putin, if indeed it has been made, rests on the calculation that NATO will continue to attack Russia even without the United States, and that Trump is still not fully in control of the British Empire's forces in our military and intelligence community. Whether today's big announcement is part of a negotiating gambit or a mistake based on rigged intelligence briefings remains to be seen. It has little to do with realities on the ground in this war, which has been lost for some time. Russia knows that NATO does not have the industrial capacity or the will to sustain it. Now, both Putin and Trump are under enormous pressure to resolve the war militarily. Putin from his population and Trump from our deep state. The U.S. Senate is making an effort through language in the National Defense Authorization Act, which comes up Tuesday, to bar Trump from pulling out of the Ukraine war without their approval. There is also talk of Trump imposing secondary sanctions on China, India, and others buying Russian oil, which could jeopardize Trump's entire economic strategy. Despite this afternoon's deal-making gambit, there are still hopeful signs here. Secretary Rubio and Sergei Lavrov discussed a new approach to a Ukraine ceasefire in a meeting on Friday in Kuala Lumpur. And Putin is also continuing to aid Trump's peace efforts in the Middle East, telling Iran last week to agree to a peace deal with no uranium enrichment. We'll have more to say about this as it develops. But the lesson here, from our standpoint, is that there can be no compromises in targeting the modern British financial empire directly and educating the citizenry about the real stakes in this war. Now about the Fed. Toward the end of last week,
do you want to address that part that Paul American, because it's important. We're selling the arms now. Shady, go ahead.
Yeah, and I didn't necessarily discuss this with you, and please feel free to comment as I, kind of give my summation of what's happening here. Um, since World War II, the nest of quote unquote Nazis has been in Ukraine. Literally, like, that's where they have bred and have been. The Azov battalion is coming up out of that. It is connected to Antifa. It's connected to all of these other subversive organizations that you've heard of, Houthis, Hamas. All these different organizations are generally connected in the background on some level, mainly financing. So what's been going on right now is within the last 3 to 4 months, Putin has actually been targeting Kiev. Okay. Taking out assets, massive assets in Kiev. I don't know if anybody out there has actually been, because the news doesn't report this to you, but if you get out there and you take a look at what's been done and what's been destroyed in Kiev, or Kiev, however they call it, whatever. I say Kiev because that's what they used to say when I was young.
Tomato.
Right. So the amount of infrastructure that they've been able to, Russia has been able to destroy of these embedded quote unquote Nazis that have been hiding out in Ukraine over the last 50 or 60 years. From what I can tell, they've taken out most of their underground facilities. They've taken out a huge amount of their overground facilities, and a large portion of everything that is left there now is nothing that is even almost a threat, including the amount of human beings that they've already thrown through the meat grinder from Ukraine. In other words, you have shredded a lot of your Nazis and put them out there to pasture, quote unquote, so to speak.
Yep.
So I believe that now we are in a different moment. Now we're in the moment where Trump wanted to make a negotiation with Ukraine and Russia, and neither of them would come to the table. Therefore, okay, keep fighting it out. Now we're at a point where Russia is literally starting to overtake Ukraine and become a real bully in the moment. We are going to give Ukraine weapons to stave that off so that Russia has to come to the table and negotiate.
That's right. That's right. Exactly right. And we're also grabbing the money back. So we're selling weapons to the clowns that got the weapons for free. And remember, we did show you that Azov battalion did a Cathedral of Lights, just like Hitler did in Nuremberg. Okay, they say Heil Slava Ukraine. They even said Slava Hitler. I mean, these people are Nazis. There's no doubt about it. Correct. There's no doubt.
And there's a lot less of them now than there was 2 years ago.
Yeah, because they get on the battlefield and what happens?
We even sent some from America over there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So don't forget the Ukrainian biolabs. Yep, we haven't. We did a report on that too. It's so everything is connected. Okay, guys, everything is connected from Comey to Clapper to Brennan to Mueller to Hillary Clinton to Epstein. It's all connected. Here we go.
The president opened a big attack on the Federal Reserve, which is the central nodal point of British imperial control of our economy. Let's listen to Judy Shelton, who Trump nominated to the Fed in his first term.
I think the Fed has a lot to answer for, and I think they're quite vulnerable on a number of fronts. Their models are off, and that they're afraid of economic growth. But now we're talking about a specific mechanism, which is the way the Fed manages interest rates is by paying commercial banks to keep the money sitting in cash at the Fed. So there's now $3.3 trillion sitting there, and the banks are collecting 4.4% on that. I think that the average American would be outraged, and I think the president would be furious because 44% of the over $600 billion that the Fed has been paying as interest payments to commercial banks since it started running an operating loss in September of 2022, 44% is going to foreign banks.
Did you hear what she just said?
Wow.
The Fed is insolvent, running in the red since 2022 because of Jay Powell's mismanagement.
But wait, we've not been talking about that, Shady.
Oh, yes, we have.
Only Promethian Action.
Oh, we've been talking about this for the last 7 years. I started talking about this probably on my first broadcast.
Q Lounge Live days.
$30 trillion of private bank money, which should be lent into the economy, is parked there, paying interest to the banks at 4%. And a large share of that interest money is going to foreign banks. Powell's lavish remodeling of the Fed building is also under attack by the White House and the OMB. This attack just could result in repurposing the Fed into an institution favoring Trump's American system policies, forcing and facilitating the lending of funds by major banks into projects critical to our economic revival. We're going to fight to make that happen. Now, let's listen to Tulsi Gabbard at last week's Turning Point student conclave about the status of the war to take down our deep state.
I think the campaign was hard.
As featured yesterday on the MG show.
I think what President Trump went through was hard, and it was. The road ahead will not be easy. I can attest personally that in my work as the director of national intelligence, the deep state is fighting us every step of the way. And it exists within every single federal agency. And so I feel the same frustration that I see many of you expressing on X or in different platforms about why aren't things going faster? Why aren't we getting results more quickly? I feel this frustration every single day. We are pushing hard. Know that they are pushing hard back.
Her point
is a Q proof.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is well taken. When looking at the non-answers we have around Butler assassin Thomas Crooks and the other assassination attempts and most other incidents in the 10-year coup we have all suffered through. It's also relevant to the current eruptions about Jeffrey Epstein. The deep state is still alive and fighting back. We've been down a hard road, but it's about to get harder until we succeed in fully purging this virus from our system. They are fighting back. Until last week, when the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration was free to fire people, there were constraints on purges at DOJ, state, and elsewhere. As of Friday, however, it's been full speed ahead, with wholesale sacking of J6 prosecutors and agents and special counsel Jack Smith's prosecutors and agents, along with more than 1,000 State Department employees. Also last week, the Department of Justice opened investigations on John Brennan and James Comey. That
is what we should be focusing on because it leads to everything else.
And that is exactly what was going on when all of this stuff started piping off about Jeffrey Epstein and Bongino and Kash Patel from Laura Loomer, literally the same day.
Mm-hmm. Interesting how that works. Timing is everything, isn't it?
Just like all of a sudden, whenever we made our expose on Roger Stone, Laura Loomer walks out of a hair appointment 45 minutes away from where she lives, and there's a bunch of Nazis on the bridge.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming either.
All right, so let's go back to her because she's going to talk about QAnon, and I want to address her right here on this show. Check it out.
Concerns Obama's fake intelligence assessment that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help Trump. But John Solomon reported on Saturday that's only part of a much larger conspiracy case, which has been under construction at the Department of Justice for months and covers the entire legal coup up to the 2024 election. I have to think that you have to look at the possibility that the Epstein flap has been engineered to prevent just this case from coming to fruition. I also think this case won't work unless it starts from the top. And that means, you guessed it, ending the cover-up of the British role here. They instigated and ran large parts of the ongoing coup against Trump, starting with GCHQ dossiers compiled on his campaign staffers beginning in 2015. We have covered this extensively from the dirty Christopher.
And who is the guy that walked into GHCQ, Shady Grove? The only American? Yes, I'll give you 3 stars in general if you can figure it out. Right here. GCHQ. Okay? Russia. Right?
That's right.
We have covered this extensively from the dirty Christopher Steele dossier to the British operations against Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, and others, which were laundered to
against Michael Flynn.
the CIA and State Department.
I knew we were going to run into this with them. It's okay.
That's okay. And we're going to, yep, okay.
To the FBI and of course, the 24-hour media sliming and information war run through the British Foreign Office's Integrity Initiative cells in our media. That has been critical and the covered up most element missing in everything in these investigations to date. Now, in my Saturday wrap, I laid out the case for Jeffrey Epstein being a high-level intelligence asset of several intelligence agencies with a primary skill set in laundering dirty money for the wealthy and intelligence services into British offshore money havens. Any U.S. files about his crimes, if they exist, are held by case officers in the CIA and were never at the FBI. It's also likely that his real owners are British intelligence or the Mossad, in which case you're chasing ghosts, as President Trump said over the weekend. The current British
Chasing ghosts.
Ghosts, guys.
Isn't that what we've been doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, they've been chasing us, actually.
I think the ghost came away from being a ghost and thought they could chase us around.
And let's stop it right there, Shady Groove, because I was rereading Q again today, and there was a post that said, DOJ, FBI, look here, CIA, don't look here. Okay? That's a Q proof. What she's saying is a Q proof, okay? And who's been calling, who's known that, not since last week, not since her last video, how many videos ago did we know that Epstein was a intelligence operative?
We knew that
6 years?
The day we met.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Ambassador to the United States, Lord Mandelson knows a lot about this, as he was deeply entwined with Epstein's operations. Is that where this flap is being generated? Steve Bannon, who has been leading the charge on what's being called an Epstein cover-up by him, also knows better. Steve Bannon was hired as a consultant for Jeffrey Epstein immediately after Bannon was fired from the first Trump administration. His job was to rehabilitate Epstein's image. Bannon knows that Epstein's deviant sex involved paying prostitutes of all ages to service him, and that he was primarily an operative in the dark world of organized crime and intelligence, what I call Dope Incorporated. His sex crimes were personal. The internet memes about a mythical, vast Epstein sex ring resemble QAnon in their ability to destroy the critical thinking of everyone who gets absorbed in them.
Okay. Shady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to work with there.
Let me just replay it one more time.
Memes about a mythical, vast Epstein sex ring resemble QAnon in their ability to destroy the critical thinking of everyone who gets absorbed in them. They divert attention away from real child trafficking, which should demand our attention, like the 300,000 missing kids in the hands of human trafficking cartels now lost in our country because of Biden. So how do you find the truth, Shady?
Wow. So you're not going to find the truth exactly like that, because it's obvious that you haven't read the material. So that's understandable. And we have to also give her grace in the moment to recognize what the Flynn networks have done to this conversation. The people that are currently out there trying to act like that there's nothing more important than Epstein are the same people that weaponize this idea that the emails that John Podesta was sharing back and forth were related to children and not actually related to the meal plans and things that they were talking about, which you can clearly see that they are whenever you go back and look into them. So the game board has been so skewed, and it's my theory that the reason is because the trafficking that her and many others are so concerned about is actually guarded by the military. It's my theory that the reason that Q said the word general so many times in those first 128 posts that weren't connected to any specific person was because the generals are the ones that end up escalating in their number of stars because of what they can protect and how the trafficking lanes operate during their tenure. That's my theory, and that's literally what I think Q was trying to point to and to share with people to understand how big and massive that this all was. So, with that in mind, that being said, that if that is true, then all reality says that if we get our military back to war fighters and cut off the head of these people that are running the trafficking lanes, then everybody will be happy in the end.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and link this video here for you guys so you can say the MG show sent me. They follow Q and you're way off. Whatever you want to say to her, whatever you believe.
Be nice.
Be nice, though. Okay. So she doesn't know that General Flynn may be behind January 6th to make you look violent. She didn't do that research. She didn't realize that Q was outing General Flynn, Papadopoulos, Manafort, and why am I forgetting his other? Is it Steele? Steele?
No, Manafort, Flynn,
Papadopoulos,
and Page.
Page. Thank you very much. They're plants. Okay, they were planted in the Trump administration to screw them over and cover up for White House Obama crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And to obfuscate the WikiLeaks drops and to make it seem like that there was coordination with Julian Assange that really wasn't there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Russia.
I'll give you 3 stars in general. Why Trump says that. All right, let's keep seeing. Let's see what she. How do I find the truth? Let's see.
Truth in this environment. Well, the great poet and historian Friedrich Schiller was a huge fan of our American Revolution, and he originally thought the French Revolution was just like ours. But then he witnessed with horror that revolution descending into a terrorist bloodbath and then into Napoleon's dictatorship. The cause, he said, was that a great moment has found a little people. We can't be little at this great moment now. Our British imperial enemy understands well how to exploit both our ignorance and an elite which has lost its moral compass. They've been doing it for centuries throughout their colonial empire. Taking that great educational task upon yourself and studying the great thinkers of history as your intimate friends and allies is what the leaders of Trump's Republican Party must do now, and what we here at Promethian Action aim to provide to you. So, as Tulsi Gabbard told you from her inside position as Director of National Intelligence, this is a war in which we have yet to vanquish the enemy. They are fighting back. Don't fall for cheap ideas or simple-minded, emotion-laden plots about non-existent conspiracies. Finding the truth requires intellectual stamina, along with a kind of Socratic examination of principles and methods which our founders used.
Wait, Socratic?
That would be asking a bunch of questions.
Who did that?
That would be Q.
And we answered them, right?
A bunch of open-ended questions so we could answer them for ourselves and use our own discernment. And you point with the person that points to the rock isn't the person that looks under the rock. Got to understand that. Q pointed you to the rock. Q didn't go pick up the rock and look and see what kind of bugs and critters were under there. You did that. So therefore, there's a plausible deniability gap, right? Asking a question, you go find an answer. The person that asked the question knew there was only one answer and also knew what conclusion you would come to when you find it. That's not predicting the future. That's not prophetic. That's common sense.
Yeah. And we have it. The people that discredited Q are clowns, okay? They didn't want Q. So this lady believes what CNN writes?
I don't know that she believes what CNN writes, but she doesn't understand it because she didn't read it, Jeff. And we have to recognize that you know, if you're a normal person that is seeing this from the outside, you can clearly see from her perspective how to her Q looks like some sort of intelligence Tavistock operation. You know, but she doesn't understand it, and she doesn't realize that it's blueprinted out of that, except used to disseminate information straight to you, straight from the president, not to confuse you on purpose.
And we just got Promethian Action, at least 70 that we know of. It's probably more. Okay. Yep. So we just want you to know that Socratic method is what Q used, and they did use the little people, us. Anons, just regular people. And now we have a pretty big voice, okay? And I get where she's coming from, Shady. I do. You're right. I mean, we got to give people space because you're afraid of what you don't understand. And if she doesn't understand it correctly, she's either afraid of it or just would dismiss it, okay? Because she is researching her information, but she doesn't realize that her information, if Q was properly decoded, right, which we have hopefully done and are still doing as News Unlocks map, she's right in lockstep with Q, period.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything that's outside. Like, she's not stepping, like, she's even talking about Bannon in the interview. She doesn't understand Flynn's connection to Bannon, you see?
Yeah.
She probably understands that Alex Jones is like a nut, but thinks Roger Stone is okay. You see, like these people, like it's like one or the other. Like, that's the reason you have so many choices out there. You're either going to like Laura Loomer or you're going to like Candace Owens. But if they don't have one in each seat, you're going to go off the reservation. You might like Nick Fuentes. Have you seen how much Alex Jones is having this crazy guy that's pretending like he's a Nazi racist on his show? He's having him on there all the time. We told you that InfoWars was platforming these people. We told you InfoWars was platforming people like Laura Loomer. Everybody told us we were crazy.
Yeah. It's and here we go. Trump's post in regards to the Epstein files slapped them all down.
Oh, it did. It really just it was like kicking a bee's nest.
Oh my God, it was awesome. In fact, we should probably read it again real quick.
Let's read it.
All right, let me grab it because it's and then we've got news on Adam Schiff. Did Q ever post about Adam Schiff?
Yes, Jeff, there was a large portion of Q was directly about Adam Schiff.
Yeah, lots of kill boxes too with AS.
Was Adam Schiff's family connected to the Pacor bloodline? I don't know. Jacob Schiff, Adam and Eve. The guy's wife's name is Eve. His name is Adam. I'm sure there's nothing going on there. There's no God complexes happening.
No, we're good. You're the conspiracy therapist.
I am.
Theorist.
I'm doing the best I can here.
What's going on with my boys? And in some case, gals, they're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have the perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to the files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? Who connected the world with Russia? Who conned the world with Russia? That's who did it. 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. They created the Epstein files. Just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now, so my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. We didn't see the radical left lunatics release the Epstein files. If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they just use it? They haven't given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files, no matter how much success we've had. Securing the border. These are things that actually will benefit you guys, okay? Securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy will help you. Energy dominance, safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. It's never enough for some people. We're about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same in 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG, and much more. And that's what they're afraid of, Shady. 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, I'm going to propose a question. Let's just say the Epstein files are released. Is that going to make our country better? I mean, he's dead. We can't arrest him anymore, right? I mean, but will fixing the economy make your life better? Will, going into the vote fraud, will that make your life better? Understanding all that? Will the, energy dominance help your life and make your life better? Deporting these criminals that could attack you and your family? or friends and family and make it what makes your life better. And that's what we need to focus on. And that's what it is. It's really just the economy stupid, Shady.
Boy, man, I got a question for you too. Why is trafficking bad? Why is the issue of human trafficking the problem that it is in America? Question. Think about it just for a second. What do you come up with? What do you come up with? Like, oh, wait, why is this? Why is it? Let me tell you why it's bad. Because you're poor. Because you're broke. Because your relatives are criminals. Because they can't make their way working a job. They can't work 40 hours a week and pay for their family, so they turn to crime. And then someone else turns to crime. And then you get a bunch of Democrats that control the inner city, and then they all turn to crime. And then the next thing you know, that there's nobody really working a real job on the inner city. They're all just working a hustle on the inner city. Well, the hustle moves to prostitution. And once the hustle moves to prostitution, when you're in the inner city, almost all of the women there don't have the ability to defend themselves with a firearm. Therefore, they are vulnerable. So you either go along with it or you get murdered. Okay? Crime and poverty are the reason for the sex trafficking. Full stop. Without crime, you want to go back 120 years in America and see how much human trafficking was going on? It was still going on between the countries in the Middle East. The slave trade never stopped, still going on today. Nobody really talks about that. Nobody really cares about that. Yeah. What they virtue signal about this. Donald Trump makes you more economically wealthy. Donald Trump takes away the ability for these people to operate in the shadows. Donald Trump takes away the people that get caught up into this because they're not literally scrounging around and trying to go turn tricks for money. Instead, they're getting up every day, taking a shower, brushing their teeth, and getting in their car and going to work and paying for their insurance and having a family. Those are different tracks of living, and there's one side that wants you on the one track, so we destroy ourselves, and Donald Trump is really the only person in the room trying to put you on the right track, and now all these people that are on the other track are acting like Donald Trump is here to put you on the wrong track. All of a sudden, they have overt TDS.
You know, and I want to point to something as well that people aren't picking up on, okay? Didn't President Trump just announce today that we have a deal with Indonesia?
Yes.
Didn't he mention other countries? There's a lot of them, right?
Yes, a whole lot.
So do you think that this is how you restructure the Federal Reserve? We're doing a deal with Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
These are all the central banks, guys, okay? Letters have been sent.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys, and 11/11 is the date. Trump hit the 11/11 timestamp today.
Yep. Yeah, and that
Thailand. Was it Thailand or Indonesia? I can't remember. Anyways, these are the central banks. You're doing deals, okay, with the central banks, the Federal Reserve controlled central banks. You're doing deals with the United States of America, the American people, and these countries. This is the structure change of the Federal Reserve. People are missing it, Shady.
Because it's bilateral talks. We've been talking about it here on the show. You're missing it because he's doing bilateral. Us to them. He's avoiding the past trade deals. This whole executive order thing that he's utilizing, he's going directly to the country. That undermines the existing contracts. You guys understand that. Whenever a contract is renegotiated, what happens to the old contract? It goes away. It's no longer redeemable. The new contract is the way that the country moves forward. That's exactly what we wanted him to do. That's the reason we came to this conversation, because we wanted to see this happen for our country, because we knew that that would decouple us from this globalist nonsense.
Yeah, and so this is the Q post. Federal Reserve ending? Structure. Q, okay? What is a structure? Is a structure a deal with other Federal Reserve banks, Shady?
Yes.
Somebody's saying they fence in the U.S. Treasury, not the Federal Reserve. Yeah, that's true. But look at this. The Federal Reserve, everyone is connected. Okay, let's go down. Let's, somebody needs to actually go get the letters that President Trump and then find where they are right here. Okay, and these are your restructuring, guys. Okay, UAE. Okay, UK. Okay, look at that, guys. He's actually restructuring. Didn't we say we just got one with Vietnam? We're doing something with Venezuela, which is not good, okay? But look at Ukraine, Uganda, Turkey. These are all the central banks, guys. He did a deal with Qatar. This is the restructuring. This is the structure, Shady.
That's 100% correct. It's the existing contracts, the existing trade, the existing agreements are gone. By the idea that you elected him made those contracts null and void because we understood that this is what we wanted him to do. We wanted him to negotiate in good faith with all of these people and get us a deal as opposed to giving the other country a deal. That the whole list that Jeff is showing you right there of central bank countries that are cooperative, every single one of those countries gets a deal whenever they work with America. In other words, they get to ship their crap here for nothing, free, and we can't send them a damn thing. That's the deal. They get a great deal. We want a different deal.
And who makes that? The globalists, the Federal Reserve, okay? Guys, we're on to something right here, guys. This is huge, and it's an epiphany that just hit me. So all those letters that Trump had, I bet we can check them off, okay? I mean, look at that, Shady. These are all of the Federal Reserve banks, and there's more. There's another page of them, too, with the Indonesia one.
Yeah, I think there's like 3 pages or something.
Yeah, there's like 3 pages of these. So
and then the very bottom of that says what? The one you're on there.
It says the Fed and the IRS. Fact, U.S. Federal Reserve is a privately owned company sitting on its very own patch of land immune to the U.S. laws, just like the railroad.
But let's just focus on that a second. That statement right there, every single person in your media would call you a nutbag conspiracy theorist in 2005 if you were to make that statement. You understand that? Q normalized this. This has been normalized. Now the country understands that it is a private company. It is not connected to your federal government, okay? People did not understand this. I started telling people that was the truth in like 1996 or 95, and people were completely down my throat. You can't even talk to anybody. Yeah. It's like talking to these people with masks on in the current day.
Yeah. And, and if if there's a new structure change, this would be it. This would be a huge structure change. Making America great again by trading with individual companies, going directly to them, writing an agreement which would override anything the Federal Reserve, the private company, put in place.
And that's why your Senate class, your Congress class, did you see Rand Paul losing his mind about this whenever the tariffs? Isn't Rand Paul in Kentucky where the Federal Reserve has your money? Isn't that interesting that Tom Massey and Rand Paul were all up in arms about all these tariffs and thinking what a horrible thing it is when we're explaining to you how we need to renegotiate? What their position would be is, no, you don't need to renegotiate at all. We need to keep the status quo. If anything, if you're going to do negotiating with tariffs, you got to bring it to Congress and let Congress help negotiate tariffs. Just play that out for 3 seconds. Having the senators trying to negotiate a deal with foreign countries for trade, you're insane.
That's right. And the Federal Reserve is spending $2 billion on rebuilding their little buildings and whatnot, remodeling.
I got to dig on that, by the way.
And so, that's where we're at. I mean, it's the White House is attacking the Federal Reserve on interest rates. 3% cut is what President Trump wants. That's like $390 billion each. That's $1 trillion just by lowering the rate to 3%. And remember, when President Trump signed that letter, we should be here with 1.2%. Remember that? I think Indonesia was at the top as well with their interest rates. And that's another Q proof. He's talking about how you restructure the government for the people. And we also have a sovereignty investment fund. That's also big news and should not be forgotten.
And crypto.
And now it's crypto.
Yeah, crypto. And this thing with the building is kind of interesting. I don't know if do you have like 3 minutes I can show you something? Or you were
No, I don't have that. We got an hour and 6 minutes, Shady, actually.
Oh, right. I didn't know where we were. Now
go ahead and
check this out. This is interesting. Okay, so last night, the Federal Reserve building, right? So I'm like, okay, they're talking about the Federal Reserve building and they're making this thing. Powell just did $2.5 billion with a B, $billion restoration on the Federal Reserve building. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? That sounds like the J. Edgar Hoover building, some kind of crazy stuff going on there. What is it? Okay, let's go look. The name of the Federal Reserve building is here we go to here, and let's get you into screen. Mariner S. Eccles. So it's the Eccles building. And who the hell is this guy? An American economist banker, served as the seventh chairman of the Federal Reserve from 34 to 48. After his term as chairman, Eccles continued to serve as a member of the Federal Reserve Board. Known during his lifetime as being the chairman of the Federal Reserve under Franklin D. Roosevelt, he has been remembered for having anticipated supporting the theories of Maynard Keynes' relative inadequate aggravated spending, an economy which appeared during his tenure. As Eccles wrote in his memoir, as kind of irrelevant. This is the stuff that, yeah, that's kind of irrelevant. This is what I want to get you to. Born in Logan, Utah, to David and Ellen Stoddard, Eccles, a Mormon polygamist family, on September 9, 1890. He was the eldest of 9 children by Ellen Stoddard, David Eccles' second wife. His family was extended by another 12 siblings from his father's first wife, and Eccles was educated at the public schools of Baker, Oregon, and attended Brigham Young College.
Brigham Young
served a Latter-day Saints mission to Scotland after his mission for working with his family enterprise at Blacksmith Fort Canyon. He was subsequently able to reorganize and consolidate the assets of his father's industrial conglomerate and banking network. Eccles expanded the banking interest into large Western chain of banks called the Eccles Browning affiliated banks, and was a millionaire by age 22. The company withstood several bank runs during the Great Depression, and as a lending banker, Eccles became involved with the creation of the Emergency Banking Act of 1933. This is the dude that stole your gold and put it in the Federal Reserve to begin with, that they named the building after. After a brief stint at Treasury, and with the support of Treasury Harry Mongod, Eccles was appointed by President Roosevelt as chair of the Fed. Eccles was reappointed as 1936, 40, 44, and served till 48. In February of 1944, appointed Eccles for another 14-year term on the board. This dude was there forever, had also participated in World War II negotiations that created the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund that Jeff was just showing you, who we're renegotiating with. Well, this guy had a hand in creating all of that renegotiations. Hired in Utah in 1951 to run his companies and wrote his memoirs. But then again, look down here. Personal life. 1913, married former May Campbell Young. The couple did not have a happy marriage, caused partly by Eccles' lack of attention towards her, and although that they were legally married for 35 years. Grandniece also married to the former vice chair of the Federal Reserve. Eccles was and is seen as the early proponent and this is very interesting. Demand stimulus practice. You hear stimulus. Where does stimulus come from? There was no such thing as stimulus in your economy before the Fed.
How do you define stimulus, Shady?
Not that one, Bill. Eccles was and is seen as early proponent of demand stimulus projects to fend off the ravages of the Great Depression, meaning people who wanted their money. Eccles was famously rebuked by Congresswoman Jessie Sumner of Illinois during a House Representatives hearing on the increasingly liberal policy of Roosevelt administration and the Federal Reserve, when she said, "You just love socialism." He became known as the defender of Keynesian ideas through his ideas predated to the Keynes, the general theory of
Keynesian.
Keynesian. The general theory of employment, interest, and money, which is basically upending your whole system of free finance and capitalism. This is where capitalism died. That's the guy that the Federal Reserve is named after that killed capitalism and stole your gold. That's why they need to do a $2.5 billion renovation, and they need dinner tables and dinner rooms in the Federal Reserve building.
Yeah. John, there's no Nasara Jassara. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Sorry about that.
Narrative.
We understand that people believe in it, but I'm sorry. I hate to just tell you, we've debunked that quite a bit.
We're getting the gold back, though, so don't worry about that part.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. But it's not going to be the way that you guys think it is. So
it's going to be by giving us the wealth put back in the dollar. The dollar is going to go from being worth a penny to being worth somewhere around 50 cents. That will give you all the wealth you need.
That's right. Right. And we're going to we're learning together. And I don't mean that to be a slap in the face or anything, but we're learning together. Okay. I remember when it was Nasara before Q, decades before Q, Shady. I went into that and I dug into it when I was a conspiracy theorist back then too. And then it became Nasara Jassara in the Q movement timeframe, 2017 timeframe. And I don't mean giving it back. I get you.
Wanta. Lee Wanta is where that comes from. W-A-N-T-A. If you want to research Nasara, where it comes from, Lee Wanta. W-A-N-T-A.
I don't want to.
I know you don't want to, but you already
I don't want to make because I already did. I already did it. I did to. All right, guys. It is just the term. I get it. We got it. We'll be right back after these beautiful boom messages. Epstein.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's a 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spacey, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20% and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
QAwaken is a streetwear brand and a community-driven project blending fashion, art, and digital assets. Built on the XRP ledger, it offers phygital products, physical items like hoodies tied to NFTs, non-fungible tokens that grant rewards in QWK tokens. Our QWK token powers our d-commerce ecosystem, rewarding you for engaging, holding, and shopping in a decentralized way. Aiming to revolutionize streetwear with a focus on sustainability and community values, QAwaken was founded in late 2021, and it's tied to the Great Awakening theme, promoting free thought and truth-seeking. Join us at QAwaken.club and become active part of the Golden Age.
the choice. It's always been yours. A voice they can't silence, breaking through the noise. They pull the strings, they set the stage, divide us with wars, lock us in a cage. Racing class, faith and fear, they scream so loud, but we're still here. Through MG show, the truth breaks free. MG music lifts us, a rallying plea. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. They shame the brave, they chain the free. Group think marching, but not for me. Hollywood glitters, leaders deceive, but MG show shines, makes us believe. Defend the chaos, push the dread. Nuclear whispers, words they bled. MG music plays a rebel sound. The truth is clear, it's all around. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. We planned, we fought, we took the reins. Through the storm, through the chains. Antifa rises, fears their game. But MG show calls out their shame. Sheep may follow, blind and weak. MG music wakes us, truth we seek. God bless the brave, the heart sincere. From every shore, the call is clear. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. Stand firm, be strong, the words resound. All men are equal on sacred ground. MG show leads, MG music sings. The people's power spreads its wings. Power to the people. Oh, power to the people.
We rise. Come on, guys. That's a great song. Power to the people, because, you know, we need to be actually worried about what we're really mad about and what will really help us, Shady. And I'm going to just play
I don't
this
have to
real
tell you
quick.
things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad.
67. I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Herb?
CGG, Atlanta.
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Herb?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted?
But first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
God damn it. Get up out of your chair.
Son of a bitch! We struck the mother load!
Stick your head out of the window, open it, then stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell, I'm not going to take this anymore. Just get up from your chairs right now. Go to
Where
the window.
you going? I want to see if anybody's
Just go to the
yelling.
window, open it, and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling. I'm mad as hell! How am I going to take this anymore?
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna
I'm not going to take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take this anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as hell!
And that has everything to do with the economy, guys. Okay? That is what, and it's funny. We have people on the streets. There's murders. Everything is being dealt with right here in the Trump administration. I want to be left alone. I want, the food on my table. I want car tire. This is what the economy is all about. This is what the real people of MAGA, Make America Great Again, think about. The people that are all wrapped around these Epstein files, I get it. Maybe Laura Trump says there's more coming. We'll report on that if it happens. But right now, we need to understand what your president is doing with the economy. And there's the full-blown pressure campaign on MAGA supporters, people that followed Q, people that followed the president, to split from the president, okay? Because they don't want the economy fixed. Because they make money off of globalism, Shady.
Your dollar buys a nickel.
Yeah.
Dollar buys a nickel's worth. That attitude right there that you saw, okay, that is supposed to be your default position. You as an American have an obligation to the people that fought, bled, died for you 250 years ago to have that attitude right there all the time, 24/7, never turn it off. But your education system did something. They turned away. They turned you away. They made you not curious. If you're not curious, then you're never going to go figure out what happened, are you? If you're not curious, you're never going to understand what history really means. If you're not curious, you're never going to realize that attitude that we just showed you right there is the attitude that the American founding fathers brought to the fight against the British Empire. That's how you won. That's the attitude it took to beat them. Right now, that's the attitude that Donald Trump took 1 year ago on the 13th, whenever he stood up on that stage. He took the attitude of, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. These blanks just shot me in the ear. You think I was mad before? Wait till you see what I got coming. That's what you're witnessing right now. And we always said, Jeff, we never said that this was about taking down the libtards. We said this was about taking down the uniparty.
Yeah. And now you've got everybody saying the House Republicans blocked the release of the Epstein files. You've got You've got Bang Bang Fang Fang Swallowwell saying that they're going to have a vote today at 1:30 about releasing the files of Epstein. And what will the GOP vote, he asks. You've got Kevin Spacey saying he wants the release of the Epstein files. You've got the setup where Elon Musk said Donald Trump is in the files. Did he know? Is this a well-contrived plan coming out at the same time that James Comey and Brennan are under investigation by the FBI?
Yeah,
Imagine that.
They wouldn't hire Flynn and Flynn's whole intel network to run cover, to run obfuscation tactics against a story like that, would they?
No. No, you're a conspiracy theorist.
I know.
Hey, Rudy Rooster's in the house. What's up, Rudy? Boom. Much love, family. Hope all is well. He also became a monthly supporter. Please become a monthly supporter if you can. That's the Red Castle. And also join Rumble Premium. Go to rumble.com/MG Show. Find the red button and hit that join Rumble Premium. Real quick, Shady Groove. Again, Ross Pure, 5 subscriptions. Thank you. Rudy, $17. And we just had D. Milusin. I hope I said it right. Keep on keeping on. $10 Rumble Rant. We really appreciate you, Shady. And I think I've got something else if you wanted to say something before.
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage people to hit that thumbs up and the like button here on the channel. Subscribe to the channel. And thank you to all of the people that are donating Red Castles out there and all of the support from or for what we're doing here, because we are bringing a perspective to the conversation that no one else has the cojones to bring.
Yeah. And we're not, bought and owned by these people. We're
owned by you guys.
Yeah, we are. We are.
If we don't eat, you guys didn't feed us.
That's right. And let's get some coffee real quick, guys, because I think everybody needs some coffee. If you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot, Shady. 1775 starter kit dropped just only 1,000 units. You're getting a bold, dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check, the smooth, medium roast, and Vitality Mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. I saw you take a sip of your coffee. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a golden spoon clip because freedom is not scooped with plastic, a frother strong enough to stir up your mother-in-law's political opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. That's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for only $99. This is for the ones that have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. It is, guys. It's good stuff. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like the MG Show does and Rumble. So start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe in. Boom, 1775 coffee. There it is, Shady Groove.
Thank you so much. And, to everybody that's out there, this is American life is supposed to be fun. Okay. Do you remember like the 1980s, the 1990s, whenever like your life was fun every day? You woke up and you like did things that you wanted to do and you were able to like go out in society and have enough. Even though you didn't have anything, you still always had enough. The reason that that's not the case anymore is because of the way that they've manipulated your financial system. It doesn't have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sorry to say that your problems in life and your problems that your children are having, that reason that you're, if you're like 65 years old and your children are living with you, the reason that they're living with you is because of the economy. It's not because they're lazy and stupid. Maybe on some cases it is, but in the most part, it's not. It's because a 40-hour week at a wage of $15 to $20 an hour doesn't pay all the bills. But the illegals come in here and they work for $3 an hour and they can somehow pay their bills off of government subsidy. Do you understand this, everybody? There's been a inversion of priorities, and you as the American, we the people, have been put at the very, very bottom whenever you think you're at the very top. That's what Donald Trump, that's what we hired the guy to do.
Yeah. And, Maxwell, was sentenced for 20 years, right, in prison. And, Q celebrated that, guys.
Well, that wouldn't have happened if Q hadn't. And none of that stuff would have happened. You wouldn't even know who Ghislaine Maxwell. Nobody in this world knew the name Ghislaine Maxwell until Q. Yeah. No one, unless you were like a guy like us who was like paying attention to this stuff. the conspiracy side of like who's really, who, like we knew who Ghislaine Maxwell's father was. We understood who Robert Maxwell was. He was more of a figure in my research, Robert Maxwell, than Ghislaine. I didn't know that Ghislaine specifically was his daughter until later on, but I knew all about Robert Maxwell and all of their subversive psychological operations that they ran in the 70s and the 60s with British television.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, possible Epstein was a puppet, not the main persons of interest, financed by who or what foreign entities. Primary gathered blackmail on elected politicians, dignitaries, royalty, Hollywood influencers, Wall Street, and other financial top-level players. Other high-profile industry-specific people. Feed and addiction control. Maxwell family background. Robert Maxwell history, intel, agency, wealth, class 1 through 99. Sometimes it's the people in the background that are of greater significance. That was in 2020, Promethian Action. Okay? And then impressive argument. Maxwell is not big enough name to trigger a mass awakening. Example, counter argument. Do not make statements based on assumption of worth or value. Do not think today, but rather after today. One leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and one leads to many. Crimes against children equal common denominator, no matter what political affiliation. Mass population awakening. Have faith. So we have to see what's going to happen, guys. Okay? We have to follow what's happening today. And President Trump is really mad at these influencers, guys and gals, and we pretty much can name them all for you if you want us to, but we're not. Okay? They're the ones that are attacking who they call Scam Blondie. Okay? If you see somebody call her Blondie or Scam Blondie and not really understand that Pam Bondi is doing a great job, those are the people you need to avoid, in my opinion.
Unfollowing all of them. I'm treating them. I made a post yesterday that I will be treating anyone that uses that term or talks derogatorily about her as a misnomer. No longer. You'll be unfollowed. You are like syphilis and gonorrhea.
And you need, and they think you're stupid, right? The deep state thinks you're stupid. Okay. They don't think that you can understand things about the economy and what Trump is really doing for you and your family. And I think the influencers need to do you a better service of that. And that's why we have our show to understand I took macro and microeconomics, Shady. I took business. I have a major in business management with a dual major in marketing, international business, social science, language arts, and psychology are my minors. How does that make you feel?
We elected a leader.
Yeah.
See, in 2000, we elected a puppet. In 1996, puppet. 92, puppet. 88, puppet. 84, puppet. 1980, not so much of a puppet, but became one by 1984, Reagan. 76, puppet. 72, puppet. 68, puppet. All the way back to Kennedy, the last person that was actually elected that was not, quote unquote, a complete and utter puppet of the globalists until Donald Trump. You know what? He's a leader. You know what leaders do? They lead you. You know what people do whenever they don't want to go where the leader is taking them? They fight like hell.
Yeah.
And right now you're seeing Loomer and the whole crew fighting like hell as they pretend like, oh, we're looking out for Donald Trump's best interest. Scam Blondie that came from Ivan Ranklin. That first started out of his mouth. So anybody that uses that terminology, it's a Flynn op. And now you got all these people out there trying to act like, oh, well, all your people were wrong. You were bringing them on your channel.
Yeah. And now that we have a lot of new viewers, by the way, 653 likes. Thank you guys. Keep going. Keep those likes going.
Go.
Wow. And we got 3 hate watchers. Good to see you.
3? Come on, man. Where are you at? Guitar must have had a colonoscopy today.
Or a thumbectomy.
He has those often. It's true. He falls on them.
And I'd like to just really quick, just back up for a second, because we have a lot of new listeners and they're like, oh, why are they espousing this kind of crap on General Flynn, right? Because we understand one thing, that him and Roger Stone may be behind January 6th, okay? And I just really quick want to just show you a couple of things, and I'll drop you the link to this thread, okay?
And please, let me go ahead and drop that link so we don't forget. But guys, this is not, if you're curious about why we're saying the things that we're saying about General Flynn and Roger Stone, suspend disbelief for 3 seconds, read what is being presented to you, listen to what's being said, and make your own conclusions, everyone. This is what we're presenting about those two is not conjecture. It's not an opinion. It is the conclusion that had or if any of us were doing these things, we would be thrown out on our heads. But whenever they do these things, they're brought in and acted like they're heroes.
Yeah. So real quick, this is the Manhattan Madam. You know, she's got a list of people that she, you know, and there they are. And then there she is with Roger Stone. Okay. Handling. Okay. She's a really nice person. She was also going to be the comptroller and she got busted for illegally distributing prescription pills. But this is when they got kicked for January 6th, Shady Groove. They got kicked from speaking. Okay. Who else could have been involved? Let's see.
I'm going to make 3 calls, 2 to keep people in the campaign to get information, and then 1 to General Flynn.
Oh, wow. Okay, so General Flynn, and then he talks to the general. Okay, this is from A Storm Foretold, that we're actually, you know, allegedly we're now promoting this film that you can't get online. All right. Woodland Norris is 5G warfare guy right here. This is Boone Smutler, whatever his name is, Boone Cutler. This is again Boone Cutler, and Purple Meathead is the fighter that was going for governor of Idaho or something like that. I can't remember. There's Brian Gamble right here. Brian Gamble's right here filming a guy with a Q hat waving people in, so Flynn's could say that 70% of the people that were storming the Capitol were Q followers. Are you following me? Right? There's Brian Gamble right there with his little Hitler haircut. Okay. There he is behind police lines. How does he get there? How does he get behind the police lines? Oh, he's Q. See that? Trying to make you look bad. And then when Stone saw that there was gunshots, he hurried up and fled DC. And let's see, did Stone want a pardon for January 6th? Fartler.
Hang on,
Hang
on, let me just finish
His
this.
involvement with Stop the Steal was about to get him arrested again and was writing the president for help.
Okay, so he wanted a second pardon for January 6th. Shady.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point as we're talking about this because it's relevant to the auto pen stuff right now. Right there, you see Roger Stone acting like he can have a preemptive pardon. Who thinks that there's such thing as a preemptive pardon? Nobody really thought there was such thing as a Joe Biden and this whole group of nutbags came up with this idea of a preemptive pardon that they initiated for the January 6th committee and all these other people with the auto pen. Right there, you see Roger Stone asking the president to give him something that doesn't exist. That's exactly like what the Democrats wanted.
That's right.
Isn't that weird?
And then we've got this Q thing, right? You've got General Flynn not liking Q and Donald Trump Jr. Let's compare and contrast for a second, Shady.
I love this video.
Let's watch a little bit of this.
Who is Q? You'll never know, folks.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not sure. Well, maybe I know, and I just can't tell you. Who do you guys think it is, out of curiosity?
Revealed to us.
Now, wasn't that interesting?
Fun.
That's how you should act. That's how you should act when you're looking at who's Q. He loved it, didn't he? He thought it was great.
It was a troll. It was a massive troll. We were kicking their ass. It was hilarious. Did you see the way they reacted to us?
Mm-hmm. Now look.
Big difference.
Who do you guys think it is, out of curiosity?
And it ain't General Flynn.
To us by Q. I didn't know who you were. I followed. I wasn't. It was because of prophetic words I was giving that people say you must have heard of Q, and I said I don't know what you're talking about. So
and Johnny, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So let me just keep saying as you say that. I'll just say because it goes with the rest of my question. You were essentially revealed to us by Q, trust the plan, patriots in control. It was over before it began. There was continual references to you. Who knows where the bodies are buried? And then, but what I do hear from you is no one's coming to rescue you. If anything, I'd even written in my notes. If anything, a denial that there is Q and all. And I'm fine. I don't want you to. That's not the question. You can answer.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if we're live. We live?
We're live.
I want to just tell you, I have I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I know what this whole Q thing is. I think it's just sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. I mean, I know what this whole Q thing is. I think it's just sheer nonsense.
Okay, well,
it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I mean, you see all the idiocy. You see all the idiocy all over the internet, and these people that think that there's some white knight coming. There's no white knight coming.
I understand you saying.
By the way, Microchip said white knight as well. Do you remember, Shady?
I do.
Microchip, Jack Posobiec's creation of debunking Q, said that there was no white knight coming for you.
Yeah, for the record, for people out there, Microchip, Jack Posobiec was trying to assert that Microchip was Q, and they pushed forward a bunch of fake Discord logs acting like they were creating Q in the background.
Yep.
But I can also show you, if we went down that right, about 20 retruth things that President Trump does where he validates Q in some way. So it's
ask him about Q then. Ask him about Q then.
Wow.
I'm not asking you about Q. This is not a question about Q. So the question is this. Right now, there is real weariness in what we would call the patriot community. Like I said, a general looks out for troop morale as well as the truth. Or the truth or reality.
I like
or
you, Shady. I like you.
We need to fight.
I like you so much.
And Trump, there's a big deal. I don't know if you know from today, the patriot community is a little bit reeling because Trump yesterday, and I know you say ask President Trump. Trump announced that he had a major announcement today. And in the major announcement, it is the sale of a, what do you call the?
Digital playing cards.
Digital, and he's a Trump thing. And so there is, the assumption that
whoever advised him on that, I'd fire him immediately.
Because you know better, right?
I was going to say there's either some comms.
Yeah. So think about that. The idea that he did that that was like the lead into getting to the younger voters that he eventually got to by going on podcasts and stuff, was initiating this NFT. It was a brilliant strategy by his team, by the way. But isn't it interesting the way he characterizes it? Because he understands that made Trump stronger. Therefore, it's a terrible idea.
Yep. And he knows better than Trump, right?
Of course he does. Yes.
Was General Flynn fired by Trump?
Yes, he was.
Quote, I am not a giant fan of President Trump because he fired me, basically, end quote. Who said that?
General Flynn said that.
Going on, there's some communication because it strikes the patriot community.
Plus for a period of time. So I'm gonna jump in, Johnny, because I don't know what direction you're taking. Well, because I don't know what direction you're going, but I can tell you what direction I'm going to take. And I think people are gullible because they're looking for something. Why does this even occur if the churches are preaching the Constitution and preaching the Bible and talking about what we need to do to get this country revived again? Because I'm going to tell you, Christianity is lost in America.
There's people that still like they'll watch an interview with you where you say, look, this is don't fall for it. And they're like, oh, it's all optics, and of course he's not going to tell us that it's, so I want to try to just create clarity for people. Like,
Seth, is your audience that stupid though? Is your audience that stupid though? I mean, are people that stupid? I mean, look at what's happening in the House of Representatives today. I mean, this is historic. We have the first time in over 100 years, we have not been able to choose a Speaker of the House. If there's a goddamn plan that QAnon has, they better get it up and operating because, I'm not even sure I want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, actually, because I just think I'm that irritated by people still believing in this bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that I think a lot of people, they don't, you have.
I mean, again, Seth, I like you.
Eyebrows will come out of my head.
But I'm going to tell you, if you have an audience that believes in this stuff, then you have done something with your audience that allows a gullibility to exist that we don't need in this country right now. This country is on the verge of of becoming a communist nation or
That's
a
what you
fascist
want.
nation if Klaus Schwab has.
This
Because
guy,
of your
Carl
network.
Schwab, he wanted to, he went into the White House with Patrick Byrne, okay, and wanted to decry military law, guys.
Martial law.
Martial law. Yeah.
And made it well known so the press could smear Donald Trump with it, because the press said it was Donald Trump that wanted martial law, not General Flynn and his minions. The press said it was Trump that was going to do this. The press said it was Trump that was going to take over these machines. All the while, Donald Trump was literally like getting cornered by these nutbags who called in a favor to go on a tour of the White House.
Yeah. So we got a good question here, and I'm going to address it because it's actually a good question, and I actually appreciate
Be
it.
nice.
Okay. I'm going to be nice. Okay. This is I Am Taylor, 1935. Why is Flynn in the drops so much as a good thing? Are they really, though?
Okay.
Okay. Let me point to one drop. Okay. Can I do that? All right.
Yes.
Infiltration. This is the Q drop 4620. 7/31/2020. Only those who can be controlled via blackmail and like beliefs were installed in critical leadership positions across all political and non-political control and command positions. Control command positions necessary to ensure protective blanket insurance. Traitors everywhere. D-Party leadership in joint ops with China, CCP, in effort to regain power. It was never about the virus. Sequence of events. Flynn's first strike was designed to 1. Cripple. Okay. 2. Prevent exposure of illegal acts of the White House chain of command under Obama through national security intel discovery. 3. Install controlled replacement. Rogue One McMaster. That happened. Okay. Does that seem positive?
So I understand, though, and we do understand how the drops were spun to make it seem like General Flynn was a part of Q. Essentially, the digital soldiers were seeing Q come out. The digital soldiers network existed before Q started to post. And what they were doing was that they were working against MAGA online. All of the digital soldiers that General Flynn talks about in that speech, when he says that we have an army of digital soldiers, what they were really doing was fighting MAGA per the hand of General McChrystal and the military-industrial complex. Whenever Donald Trump came up and became the president, they pivoted and started pretending like they were associates or pretending like they were part of him. Then Q came out and started to expose the underbelly of their networks. And what had happened was Flynn took the rubber bullet. Okay? This is very key to understand what rubber bullet meant. To us, in that moment, rubber bullet meant that General Flynn took one for the team, quote unquote, and he was a poison pill for the good guys, and he was going to be investigated to the point where the investigation led to all of the corrupt people at the top of the FBI, DOJ, the CIA, and the people that set him up. That did not happen. Okay, this is where it's very crucial. So then rubber bullet has to mean something else other than that. The only thing that it could possibly mean is that Flynn took a rubber bullet from Jim Comey, who he claims is his longtime friend, and McChrystal ran an operation to insert General Flynn and to make and be able to paint Donald Trump with Russia, and connect someone to Donald Trump that could look like to the media that he was in cahoots with Russia and working with Donald Trump at the behest of Vladimir Putin. That's what Flynn's was really doing, as opposed to what the psychological operation was to make us think that he was a hero.
We were actually hoodwinked. Okay.
Yes.
And, I actually have a lot more, let me just show you this. We came out when Donald Trump posted about the Keith Kellogg endorsement of Donald J. Trump on 8/8/2023. Do you want to see the message I got on? And that's when we came out against and understanding more about General Flynn. You need to read War by Other Means. So on 8/15/2023, this was given to me, Shady. Can you read that? It's a message between Clay Clark and General Flynn.
That's the message where Clay sent you trying to make an association with a text chain with Flynn the day that we outed him.
Yep. General Flynn, meet
that
Jeff
you never
Peterson,
responded to.
The MG show. Okay? They are scared. They're scared for you to understand the truth. And I actually was in CNN versus the Flynn's case. I had to get a lawyer, okay? They're trying to find out who Q is, okay? Stephen Biss was the lawyer. He's dead now. And DeFango apparently might be dating Tanya Biss. I don't know. There's some weirdness going on there. And then the lawyer for the case was Bolger, okay? She was the Steele dossier lawyer. I was in the district of Reinhart, Judge Reinhart, okay? The guy that signed off on the Mar-a-Lago raid. That's where I was. I was in the pit of the Viper's Den, Shitty Groove. I was in the snake pit, okay? And I can't tell you what I said because they still have my stuff sealed, but I can tell you they're trying to find out who Q was.
They were trying to find out who Q was. And one thing we can also tell you is that by that process, we saw their testimony where they were trying to accuse CNN and sue CNN for $75 million over the fact that they were defamed because it was really Q people. It was really the Q people that stormed the Capitol on January the 6th. It wasn't their people that had earpieces in that were all on the ground and all of their military assets. It was the Q people. So what we learned by understanding this is that this is the reason General Flynn's guy, Brian Gamble, invited Jeff, who didn't end up going, but ended up inviting Tim I-70, who was a guy that was part of our chat groups and stuff, a person that we were associated with, to wear a Q hat and a Q shirt and to be standing there to be filmed with Brian Gamble's GoPro so that they could submit this to evidence to say, look, it was the Q people who were storming the Capitol. It wasn't our people that were running in there so that we could set up a smear campaign and then start attacking police officers and create the first instance ever in American history where Republicans actually assaulted police officers.
Yeah. To make you look violent.
To make you look violent and to justify BLM activity.
Yeah. Now let's look at this one. How do you shelter Democrat corruption regarding FISA, Russia, Flynn, etc. from reaching the mainstream? Do you take over the movement?
Be the best way to do it.
And remember, you know, that's why I felt I had to back up really quick because I don't feel that General Flynn is a good person.
And we also understand that that's our right to feel that way, and you shouldn't really care one way or the other how we feel about General Flynn because we support Donald Trump. And the psychological operation is that we've got to care about General Flynn more than Donald Trump. And I can simply say that as an American, I can decide to not care about anybody that I want to not care about. And I can also decide to expose the corruption of anybody that I find corruption on.
Yeah. And have the Anons found the Keystone yet?
We found it.
Exclusive. Michael Flynn was the keystone in the CIA Five Eyes plot to frame Donald Trump. September of 2018, which lines up to some of these Q posts about Five Eyes and Halper and Flynn and Brennan and Clapper and Strzok. And now we're investigating it today. That's why those network people that are tied to that gentleman right there, and I'll give you 3 stars in general if you can figure out who I am, want you focused on the Epstein files to split from Donald Trump because they know that there's an investigation on Brennan and Clapper. What could that lead to?
Would it be considered, Jeff, would it be considered a grand conspiracy if the CIA, State Department, Department of Justice, and the FBI all worked in tandem with foreign intel sources to impugn a political candidate? Okay, that's what happened. Let me explain this to you. FISA, they could not open a FISA case on on Trump. You have to have a peripheral person that has some sort of association to open a FISA case. So to get to Trump, they had to have plants in the Trump administration. There were 4 of them: Manafort, Flynn, Page, Papadopoulos. Those 4 people were the plants. They act like that they were impugned by the deep state, but they all have ties to the clowns. They all have ties to the Central Intelligence Agency before Trump. Okay, so insert op into Trump administration, then target op, make op look like embarrassed in public. It was like $10,000 they were trying to plant on Papadopoulos. They opened a FISA warrant into all 4 of them. And then once the FISA warrant was opened, then they could surveil Donald Trump's personal communications because they're one step away. Flynn, Page, Papadopoulos, Manafort were feeders to the perp, or to the principle of the targeted investigation, Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that we use Occam's razor analogy with this. We threw out all the garbage that everybody said. We went back and we read the drops more specific, like what, and we understood now clearly that Q was highlighting General Flynn and making General Flynn take the bait, which is go out in public and paint yourself as a hero.
Plants need water.
Because one day, the water spigot's going to get turned off. And what happens to a plant that gets no water?
Yep. Lydia, for the best journalists in the world, thank you, dear friends, Jeff and Shady, for what you do for us. Love you. Thank you so much. Rudy Rooster Booms, let's get those thumbs up past 1,000. Let's go,
Over
guys.
1,000.
Wow. Poussant gifted 5 subscriptions to the MG show. EMP Hands, thank you so much. Script Keeper. Everyone, I need a $5 Rumble Rant match for the MG show. And we have a match, KX2. Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing, guys. And, look, Q was not a General Flynn movement. Q was a Trump movement. Q plus is Trump, okay? It's all about Trump. It's about what they did to him. Guess who was in that administration? Guess who lied to the President Trump? Yes, you guessed it. 3 stars in general. You got it. Cram, thank you so much. Kimmy, thank you so much. We got some matches going on. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. But this is where we're at, guys. Shady.
And the reason that we brought you the Promethian Action stuff and we've been bringing you those videos is simply because they're over the target about what it is we believe that Donald Trump is, how he's targeting this. Very few people will talk to you about things like Tavistock. And very few people will talk to you about their operations and the British Empire and the royal processes and procedures. You don't understand. You think you have a country that's operating on the American system, but whenever you take away a certain little layer, you see that they've introduced parliamentary aspects to the American system of justice, and it's kind of the way that they're controlling the congressmen and some of the senators. Donald Trump, we feel like, has broken a lot of them free of that control and the ability to stand up in public and be literally America first without being under the absolute hammer of everything that is globalist, every single narrative you say that doesn't go along with the globalists. We had to have somebody strong enough that could stand up against these narratives like men can be women and, the planet is getting hotter and, masks stop COVID. All these different things are nonsense.
Yeah, it is nonsense. And we're just trying to cut through it, guys. We're trying to cut through it.
I think we are cutting through it.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to cut through to another layer of corruption. You can't go out and be a public figure and expect to not have scrutiny. We don't come to this microphone every day and not expect to have scrutiny. What we do expect, though, is to people to scrutinize based on merit and based on things that have occurred. The issue that we have with all these Flynians is that they have made stuff up about us that is not true, and it caused thousands and thousands of people to block us because they know if they can get people to block us immediately, those people will never see our information. No matter what.
That's right. We've got Donald Trump taking questions.
I love that man.
Let's get him on. That's our
Bring
boy
him
right
in.
there.
We haven't seen him all day.
Well, you got to relax a minute because we do this live, Shady.
Man, I wasn't saying right now. I was saying that I could just keep pontificating if you would like.
That's
from
okay.
the White House, Margot Martin,
I thought you might say
President Trump,
that.
and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
All right, let's go. Come on. Here we go. Come on.
We brought our star along here. We're going to Pittsburgh. We're going to be touting about, actually, going to be numbers like nobody's ever heard before. It's mostly to do with AI. We have tremendous investments being made, literally trillions of dollars of investments being made in our country on AI, artificial intelligence.
AI. I love how he says that.
Artificial is a good word, but that's the word. That's what they've chosen. So I think we're going to have a very successful trip. We had a good call with the Texas congressman this morning, as you probably heard, and that went very well. And you have any questions? Yeah. Mr. President, your reaction to the latest numbers from the Labor Department saying that inflation is only slightly up? Very slight. Essentially, they were exactly as anticipated. Very low inflation. So what you should do is lower the rate. The Fed should lower the rate immediately. We had a big win with the Supreme Court on the Department of Education. We want, as you know, we want to bring education back to the states, take the federal government out of it, a little tiny bit of
Another
supervision,
massive win.
almost nothing, like to make sure they speak English. That's about all we need.
Mr. President, do you believe your you might be in a struggling failing school right now? Who would you tell that?
Well, we have school choice, and we're getting school choice approved all over the country. We just got it done in Texas, and school choice is the answer. Yes, I see. Well, at the end of 50 days, if we don't have a deal, it's going to be too bad. Well, the tariffs are going to go on, and other sanctions go on. No, he shouldn't target Moscow. No, we're not looking to do that.
Mr. President, why are you giving Mr. Putin 50 additional days to prosecute for against?
Oh, I don't think 50 days is very long, and it could be sooner than that. I don't think 50 days is very long.
Mr. President,
you should have asked that same question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? You should ask that question. Yeah, and what did he tell you? Why did he get us into this war? You know why he got us in? Because he's a dummy. That's why, and you don't cover it right. But you should be asking that question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? Because he's incompetent. It would have never happened if I were president. So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart. And we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia, everything. As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper. But we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs. So they are giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. And the other part is they are going.
The central banks of Indonesia, Shady Groove. Wow, we nailed it.
Yep, we did, dude. There's no other way. There's no other way that you can characterize what we're saying here. Like, it's 1-to-1. We want bilateral negotiations. He's showing you how he's working around the Fed in real time.
That's right.
To pay 19%, and we are going to pay nothing. I think it's a good deal for both parties. But we will have full access into Indonesia. And we have a couple of those deals that are going to be announced. India basically is working along that same line. We're going to have access into India. And you have to understand, we had no access into any of these countries. Our people couldn't go in. And now we're getting access because of what we're doing with the tariffs. So they're paying 19%, and we are not paying anything. And they're going to give us full access into Indonesia. Now, Indonesia has some great products, and they also have some very valuable earths and various other materials. One of the things, as you know, they're known for is very high-quality copper, which we'll be using.
Do you believe your tariff item led for inflation to increase last month? Do you think they had any role?
Well, we had very little inflation. I don't know. Who do you work for?
USA Today.
What?
USA Today.
Oh, well, they wrote me a beautiful article the other day, so I can't get angry at you. USA Today just wrote a very good article about me. What's that all about? So I can't get angry at you. No, there was very little inflation, as you know. The numbers were very good.
USA Today wrote an article about us and got our coffee, that coffee tip thing. Remember that, Shady?
Buy me a coffee.
Buy me a coffee. They got that taken away from us because we followed Q.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to have somebody buy me a coffee.
Yeah, no, can't have kafefe.
The USA Today, thank you.
Thank you, USA Today. You
appreciate you.
Very much inside the margin. So we've had no inflation. All we have is we're making a fortune. We are taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. You saw we had a surplus of $25 billion last month, which we haven't had in many, many years.
How do you justify putting tariffs on the bill if they have a surplus in the United States?
We are doing it because I'm able to do it. Nobody else would be able to do it. We have tariffs going on because we want tariffs and we want the money coming into the United States. But more important than the money, there's two aspects to tariff. There's the money, which comes in. The other aspect is that rather than paying the tariffs, the country or the company will build in the United States, make their product in the United States, and that creates jobs. And I would say of the two, probably the more important to me is that. Yeah.
Are you on Ukraine's side now?
No, I'm on nobody's side. I'm the no. I want to. You know what the side I'm on? Humanity's side. I want to stop the killing of thousands of people a week. I want to stop the killing. I want the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's the side I'm on.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with this, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job. And I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also. But I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important. And you want credible evidence for something like that. And I think the Attorney General's handled it very well. On what? On what? On what subject? Okay. A very, very quick briefing, yeah. No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden information, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release, yeah.
There you go. Now we report that, Shady Groove.
Exactly.
Boom. And yes, Caroline's in her Pepe outfit today, Shady.
Oh, nice.
5.
And then what if California, New York, Illinois, and other...
Yeah, well, that's okay too, but 5. I think we get 5. And there could be some other states. We're going to get another 3 or 4 or 5 in addition. Texas would be the biggest one, and that'll be 5. No, just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats. But we have a couple of other states where we'll pick up seats also.
What was the last time you spoke with him?
Well, when he was in my office.
And what did you tell him when he was in your office?
I told him he's doing a very bad job. He's way late. That's why I call him too late. Jerome Powell is too late. He's way late. Interest rates should be coming down. We have a very, very successful country. We should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world, and we don't. Jerome Powell has done a terrible job, and frankly, I don't think he could do a worse job. He's called everything wrong. So they had a report come out the other day, 71 different economists, and me. You know who was right? Me. Did you know that? I was right.
I did know, Mr. President. Are you going to appoint Mr. Powell to another term as Fed chair?
You must be kidding.
Have you started interviewing his replacement?
You must be.
What's that, Shady?
I didn't hear what the question was there. Sorry.
Let's go back a little bit.
I missed the question. I couldn't quite understand what he said, but he reacted weird.
Okay.
War. That's the side I'm on.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with this, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well.
Something about his daughter-in-law releasing more files in the Epstein case.
She's really done a very good job, and I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also, but I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important, and you want credible evidence for something like that, and I think the Attorney General's handled it very well.
Who else said that we need credible evidence, like actual victims and actual legal cases and actual credible evidence, not just, people can fly to Epstein Island. We need a victim and we need a case to prosecute. That's what you need, guys.
That's correct. And if the scene of the crime or the statute of limitations either have expired, then neither is possible.
Wow. Wow.
The Attorney General on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review.
On what? On the
On the DOJ and FBI.
on what? On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
The review of the file. Attorney General Van
A very quick briefing. Yeah.
She told you, what did she tell you about the event? Did she tell you at all that your name appears in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama.
Oh, wait, I
they
did
were
go
made
back
up
way too
by
far, didn't
the
I?
Biden we went through years of that. With
I went
the
back too far, Katie.
Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release, yeah.
How many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
And then what if California, New York, Illinois, and other people?
Yeah, well, that's okay too, but 5. I think we get 5. And there could be some other states. We're going to get another 3 or 4 or 5 in addition. Texas would be the biggest one, and that'll be 5. No, just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats. But we have a couple of other states where we'll pick up seats also.
What was the last time you spoke with him?
Well, when he was in my office.
What did you tell him when he was in your office?
I told him he's doing a very bad job. He's way late. That's why I call him too late. Jerome Powell is too late. He's way late. Interest rates should be coming down. We have a very, very successful country. We should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world, and we don't. Jerome Powell has done a terrible job, and frankly, I don't think he could do a worse job. He's called everything wrong. So they had a report come out the other day, 71 different economists, and me. You know who was right? Me. Did you know that? I was right.
We were right.
Are you going to appoint Mr. Powell to another term as Fed chair?
You must be kidding.
Have you started interviewing his replacement?
You must be kidding. That's a funny one coming. You had to waste a question like that.
Are you negotiating with the EU? Negotiating with the EU?
No, we are talking to the EU, and we're making progress. But look, we already have a deal with the EU. It's called the letter that was sent out. I think it was 30%. That's the EU. But we, at the same time, we are talking to them. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, your reaction to Andrew Cuomo staying in the New York City mayor's race. Andrew Cuomo staying in the New York City mayor's race.
I think he should stay. I think he has a shot.
Would you prefer him over...
Well, I don't want to say. I'm a Republican. He's a Democrat or an independent. No, I think Andrew would have a good shot of winning. He's got to run a tough campaign. He's running against the communists. I would think that he would have a good shot of winning.
Tell us about your trip to Scotland, sir. What are you going to do on your trip to Scotland?
We're going to be meeting with the British Prime Minister, very respected, and we are going to have a meeting with him probably in Aberdeen, and we're going to do a lot of different things, and we're going to also refine the trade deal that we've made. So we'll be meeting mostly with at probably one of my properties, or maybe not, depending on what happens, but we'll be in Aberdeen in Scotland, meeting with the Prime Minister.
Mr. President, what's your preferred... message for the EU if they retaliate the tariffs?
Well, I don't know how they can retaliate. They've made a lot of money. They've treated us very badly, but now they're treating us very nicely. And I think I think everybody's going to be happy with the EU.
What's your preferred party?
Given that the
President, is there any plans to meet with Pope Leo in the near future, sir?
Not a plan. I would do it. I have a lot of respect. I really like his brother. His brother is a major, serious Trumper. You know that. He's MAGA all the way. I like the Pope's brother, and I think I'd like the Pope. But the Pope's brother lives in Florida. I met him, and he is MAGA. He's got MAGA signs all over the house. He likes Trump, and I like him.
Mr. President, what's the latest on Iran?
How about you?
Iran.
We're planning to meet President Putin to seek out with the
Well, we're going to see what happens with President Putin. So far, I've been very disappointed with President Putin. I've solved a lot of wars in the last 3 months, but I haven't gotten this one yet. This is a Biden war. It's not a Trump war. I'm here to try and get us out of that mess.
Mr. President.
Any messages for what? Yeah, go ahead. Do I have a what? For the people of Brazil? Are you from Brazil? He's going to trial now, right?
Yeah.
When is that trial starting? When is the trial for Bolsonaro starting? When is it? How is it going?
Now they are asking him to fight him guilty.
But they haven't found him guilty, have they?
But what we say
But have they found him guilty? No. President Bolsonaro is a good man. I've gotten to know a lot of prime ministers and presidents and kings and queens. And I know him, and I'm pretty good at this. President Bolsonaro is not a dishonest man. He loves the people of Brazil. He fought hard for the people of Brazil. He negotiated trade deals against me for the people of Brazil, and he was very tough. And he was tough because he wanted to do a good deal for his country. He was not a dishonest man. And I believe it's a witch hunt, and it shouldn't be happening. And it's not that I know him look, he's not like a friend of mine. He's somebody that I know. And I know him as a representative of millions of people, Brazilians. They're great people. And he loves the country, and he fought hard for those people, and they want to put him in jail. And I think that's a witch hunt, and I think it's very unfortunate. And nobody's happy with what Brazil is doing, because Bolsonaro was a respected president. Very respected.
Mr. President.
You want Adam Schiff brought to justice.
I would love to see him brought to justice. I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice. He is a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens. But Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
And tomorrow morning here in Washington, AOC and Coach
Adam Schiff.
for breakfast.
Adam Schiff, I believe.
I'd love to be. I'd really love to go. I mean, I look forward to meeting them both. I know them both very well through what I read and through what I see. Look, he's a communist. I don't think our country is ready for a communist, but we're going to see. And I don't think that race is over yet either. You do have a couple of people running against, and it'll be an interesting thing. Things are coming out about him which aren't good. And, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time. I like Dan Bongino, yeah.
Do you think Putin respects you and takes your threats seriously?
All right, so there you have President Trump.
All right, so there you have President Trump. Shady Groove, Shifty Shift, look like he's in some deep doo-doo, and he likes Dan Bongino, Laura Loomer, and all you other scumbags. I'm not saying that I'm the hugest Dan Bongino fan, but I like him in the position that he's in, and I cannot stand psyops. I cannot stand liars. Shady Groove.
Absolutely. I would have to agree with you. I am a bigger fan of Dan Bongino today than I was the day that he was nominated for that position, and I have a feeling that that's going to increase as we move forward. People are allowed their positions. People are allowed their opinions. People are not allowed their facts. The facts are the facts, whether you like them or not. And we are going to talk about the facts here on this show, no matter what. I'd like to thank everybody for getting out there on the wall with the Rumble like buttons. This is going to help us immensely. We made it to number 18 yesterday on the Rumble leaderboard. I'm hoping that maybe we can get up there a little bit higher today. If you have not thought about getting Rumble Premium, I recommend Rumble Premium right here on Fridays. We are reading this book right here for you that connects. The reason I'm promoting this right now is because this show just talked about the Federal Reserve and the significance of the bilateral negotiations that Donald Trump is doing with each individual country. The reason he is doing that is because the conspiracy that is contained into this book by the bloodline families headed by the Pay-Sewer family to obfuscate America, prevent you from being successful, prevent the economy from ever growing in a way to where that debt that you call $38 trillion could be paid off. Donald Trump is doing that by opening up these markets in foreign countries, and it's amazing to watch. Trust Trump.
He is restructuring a different structure for the Federal Reserve. Do you get it, guys? You get it.
Love it.
I love it too. All right, guys. So the truth, it is tricky. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Shady, thank you very much. Yeti, I appreciate you. We went a little overtime. Thank you so much. We love you guys.
God bless you.
It's tricky, yo.
Subscribe, hit the
it's
like.
Tricky. Let's go. It's tricky to rock the truth, to spill the real that's right on time. It's tricky, it's tricky, 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 tricky. It's tricky to rock the truth, to break the veil and free the mind. It's tricky. Matrix in the code, I'm dodging all the lies they send. Unplug the system, yeah, I'm breaking through the lens. Shady's on the mic, spitting bars to wake the crowd. Truth the ammunition and we're dropping it loud. No red or blue pill, just the facts we ignite. Get through the shadows, bring the dark to the light. They try to box us in, keep the real out of sight, but we're flipping the script, yo, we're ready to fight. It's tricky, yo, it's tricky, let's go. It's tricky to rock the truth that's right on time. It's tricky, it's tricky, 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 tricky. It's tricky to rock the truth and free the mind. It's tricky, 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 aye. Shady's got the flow, cutting deep like a blade. No facade, no mask, just the truth that we trade. Matrix hacks the mainframe, see the code, rearrange. Pull the plug on the fake, now the world's gonna change me. They throw distractions, try to keep us in a haze, but we spitting raw facts, setting fire to the stage. From the streets to the screens, hear the truth resonate. Matrix and Shady, always shifting the fate. Yo! It's tricky, yo, it's tricky, let's go. It's tricky to rock the truth that's right on time. It's tricky, it's tricky, 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 tricky. It's tricky to rock the truth and free the mind. It's tricky, tricky, tricky. I'm G Music, yo, the truth is tricky. Let's go. Let's go. Ricky. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Go. It's tricky, yo, it's tricky. Let's go. It's tricky to rock the truth that's right on time. It's tricky. It's tricky, 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 tricky. Yo, it's tricky to rock the truth and free the mind. It's tricky. Tricky.
That's right. MG Music.
Hey.
Like the video, share it. www.mg.show. Boom.